Today we're going to be taking a look at the game Elder Sign. It's 1 to 8 player horror adventure style game. It's kind of different. It's like a souped up Yahtzee from Richard Launius, who, if I remember correctly, did Thunder Rolls, which I have over here on the shelf and we have reviewed. But let's get this down here and we'll take a quick look at Elder Sign. Alright, so Elder Sign by Richard Launius and Kevin Wilson is a 1 to 8 player game that came out around 2011. This was one of the first games that I picked up when I started getting into modern board gaming. Yeah, I've had it for a long time. But your goal here is to combat one of the ancient ones, and we picked Azathoth for this because it's the simplest, and try to stop them from taking over or escaping Miskatonic University. You're going to have these adventure cards, these otherworld cards, and these adventure cards and otherworld cards are how you're going to gather Elder Signs in order to stop this thing. And you need enough Elder Signs to equal their, I believe they call it an Elder Sign number, it doesn't matter, it's the number in blue, before this Doom track gets filled up. Because if this Doom track ever gets filled up, the Elder thing awakens. Usually there's a fight, but with Azathoth, you're dead. That's it. Game over. So your goal, again, you want to save yourself some trouble and get the Elder Signs. So the first, you'll put out your clue tokens, all the cards. These are your spells, unique items, regular items, companions, the Mythos deck, which we'll get to in a bit. You want to take your investigator, as well as a token for them. You can take out the sanity and health ahead of time. That's up to you. I usually do, and just stack it on and then take it away when they lose it. And one of the nice things is that if you die in here, you don't actually die. I mean, this character dies, but you just get a new investigator. And I do have a couple of the expansions, but I have a stack of investigators that will probably die a lot. You also want to set out what's called, heck, what is it called anymore? It's the general area, where you can do certain actions when you don't want to explore or you need a time to take a rest. And then you're going to set out, let's see, you got the investigator, you got the entrance, that's what it was, the entrance. We picked our ancient one, and there are other, let me get my stack, there are a bunch of other ancient ones, and you'll see this on them, where it shows symbols. That's for if the Elder thing awakens and you guys have to fight it. Chances are you're probably going to be dead before then. But yeah, we shuffled the adventure deck and we make up our entire museum by putting out 2 rows of 3. And to be brutally honest with you, this game is definitely a lot like Yahtzee, in that you're going to be rolling dice and re-rolling dice and re-rolling, but that's pretty much where it stops. Because on each of these adventure cards, you're going to see symbols, okay, in the different rows. And what you're trying to do when you go on each adventure there, and at each adventurer, they also have a set of starting items they get, so you'll take those too. Oh, that's nice. Silver key gives me an extra die, and this spell lets me lock a die. Those are important. So on your turn, you're able to either move to one of the adventures, or you can move to the entrance, and one of the adventures can be this otherworldly thing too, which represents you going to the wherever the Elder things are. Now, all we're looking to really do is roll dice, resolve the checks, and keep going. Now on each die roll, you're going to take the green dice that you have, okay, and everybody starts with all of them, and you're going to roll them. And what you're trying to do is match the symbols. You can only match 1 row at a time. So this one, I matched here. Now I can, because there's no arrow like there is on this one, I can match the other one as well, or instead rather. And then once you do that, you got to keep going. Now you'll look here and see that I got a clue symbol, which is worth 3, and then the skull and 2 tentacles. This task needs a scroll and a skull. Now normally, I'm kind of screwed. I can't do anything. And I would lose that. However, his ability is Strong Mind. It says once per roll during your turn, he can turn one of these skulls into a scroll, or one of the tentacles rather, into a scroll, and I would beat it. But let's say I don't have that. Let's say I don't. Well, when you lose a roll, what you do, get rid of a die, and then re-roll them all again. Now there are ways that you can, like with spells, lock and keep a die. In other words, I would be able to save one. But if I didn't have that, then I would just roll them again. And if I failed, I keep taking dice away until there's no way I can complete it. If I can't complete it, I suffer the penalties on this side. If I finish it, like we had before, where I could turn it into the correct thing, or we used other items or spells, then the thing is complete, and you would get the bonus on that side. So this one would get me a common item and a spell. Now, a lot of these adventures are going to have effects or abilities. This one locks a green die. And what a locked die is it sits there and you can't do anything with it until that adventure is completed. So until you go down there and complete that, you're only allowed to have 5 dice instead of all 6. If, like we said with this arrow, you must do them in order. Oh, this thing's a sucker right here. This one automatically, when you complete this row, you lose a sanity. This one, you lose a health, and then you keep going from there. But it gets you an elder sign. And that's how you get them in order to stop this thing. And if you noticed, some of these have a white border. Those are for monsters. So anytime on the elder things, the ancient ones, when it gets to these symbols, you're going to be putting out a monster. And when you put out a monster, you put it on wherever the white one is. Usually you only put one on at a time until all of them are filled, then you go back if there needs to be a second, then you can put one out. And after your turn, advance the clock, whether you completed an adventure or not, advance the clock and continue on. Now if the clock gets to midnight, then you do your Mythos card. And the Mythos card is going to be an immediate effect, and then something that's probably going to hurt you later. So for instance, this one says, the time is right. Add 2 Doom tokens to the Doom track. So I would take 2 of these handy dandy Doom tokens, place them on here. Now why do we place them on? Because later when you fight the Elder thing, you take the Doom tokens off. So it helps to measure their health if you're going to fight it. Now with Azathoth, it's really just measuring where we're going to, or how long until we're all dead. But, so the immediate effect was put 2 Doom tokens out. And then the next one says, the next time the clock strikes midnight, each investigator without a common item gains a common item. So that's not bad. They're not always that pleasant. And then you continue, whether you're playing by yourself or with others, until either the Doom track is full, or you manage to get enough Elder Signs to stop this thing. Now, one of the things you will end up getting throughout this game are these things. They look like shoe prints, but they're clues. I don't know why they picked shoe prints. I wasn't there for that meeting. But each clue, when you spend one, lets you re-roll 1 or more of your dice that you have, and then you return it, and you can get more later. Like this one would give you 2 clues. Investigators may end up losing all of their health or all of their sanity. If that happens, they are what's called devoured. Devoured investigators discard everything they have. They are dead, you pick a new investigator, get their new starting items, and take their portrait and put it on them. And they're able to start on the next turn. Now, when we were talking about the Doom track, and it mentioned bringing out monsters, that's what's in here. Now, that doesn't come with the bag. You're going to have to come up with something. But a monster is pretty cool because when it comes out, it replaces one of the things that are on there. Now, yes, I'll admit, they can do some bad things, but they also give you, much like the adventure cards, these here little circles here, they give you trophy points. And trophy points can be spent over here at the entrance to do things like heal, gain extra clue tokens, gain cards, gain allies, companions, and so on. So you kind of want them, but at the same time you don't. This one gives you one trophy, this one gives you two, one. You get the idea. So yes, don't forget, and I've seen this so many times with people when they start playing this game, don't forget about the entrance where you can go and do your shopping. Because it could mean the difference between you know, awakening the elder thing or not. But other than that, that is pretty much what we have. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I look forward to hearing from you, and I highly recommend you grab a copy of Elder Sign. If you cannot find it in a store, that's okay, because they do have an app version that's pretty good. It's not bad. I've played it a few times. I own it. I mean, that should tell you something right there. But I do prefer playing this with people, just because. And it is a good cooperative game where you're all trying to work together to stop these elder things. All right, we'll catch you on the next one. See you.